Now, despite what some people out there might think, I actually don't find joy in slewing Herpa Wings models. I'd much rather spend my time with nice models in front of me and find joy in that. But this is unfortunately not what we have here today. And I apologize for my language because I do want to try to keep it sober here in my reviews, but this is piss poor quality from Herpa Wings. Now, I knew all that before I bought the model, but I did so because I wanted to show you what you should better avoid. And I can only do things like that thanks to my partner here on the channel, Jombolino Model, who with their reasonable prices and great service can offer you a wide range of models, also models that are much more fun to look at. So do check them out. There's a link to them in the video description below. And so welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 737 MAX 8 of TUI or TUIfly Germany, where we at the front of the box have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the model inside, and we have the TUI branding on top. And in this case, the box absolutely matches the effort Herpa has put into the model as well. Not very much. So yeah, this is the box design as Herpa constantly does it, and they don't want to change because they simply don't care. And here she is, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the 50-year anniversary livery of TUI. Normally, well, reason to celebrate, but with Herpa's performance, not so much. The livery itself is supposed to display the various stages of this airline, starting off with Hapag-Lloyd, then transitioning to Hapag-Lloyd Express, and then into the TUI that we know today. But we will get into what Herpa has really done to the Sakraf model later in the video. Firstly, we will simply just take a look at the model so you can see for yourself. Now, as always, we start our tour around the aircraft model with a look at the tail section, where we on this occasion find the historic Hapag-Lloyd branding, and I really love to see that on a tail again. I used to see that as a kid, and now we can finally see it in the skies again. Very lovely. Above the Hapag-Lloyd branding, we have the last two letters of the registration code. And then on the fuselage, above the dark blue and orange sheet line, we have the full registration code of the aircraft. We have the flag of the Federal Republic of Germany. And in the orange sheet line, we find the aircraft type specification. Towards the very tail of the aircraft, we then also find a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. And if we then move from the Hapag-Lloyd part, past the Hapag-Lloyd Express part, and all the way to the front to the TUI part, well, here we can see across the fuselage then TUI displayed the branding of the airline. We do have a few hatches or static ports here, so that's quite all right. Next to the cabin door, you can almost not see it, but it is there, the name of the aircraft. Although, again, with a better print, you might have been able to actually see that better. But it is super thinly printed on, almost doesn't cover over the blue. So yeah, it is not the best effort here overall. But we do have some lovely detailing around the cockpit section in form of the cockpit windows with the metallic edges. I think that looks quite nice, and the window wipers. And a surprising detail, and something they need to be applauded for, because they've added patio tubes. I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was some dirt on the model, but no, they've actually added patio tubes to this model. Bravo, Herpa. So that's definitely a highlight. Maybe we can find some more. Let's check it out. On the engine nacelles, they have been kept in all white, just as the belly of the aircraft. Here we find the silver leading edge printed on. We have the safety markings printed on and the TUI.com branding. That, I think, looks quite all right. Also, the physical detailing of the engines, I think, is nice. The chevron nozzles pulled off quite nicely. Also, when we look into the engines from the front, we can very nicely see the engine fan blades. If we then take a look at the fuselage, just above the wings, we see the emergency exits have been printed on, leading us straight on to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at, starting off with the top side, where we have the different flaps, slats, and spoilers carved out fairly nicely. We have the emergency exit markings printed on, so yeah, that's not too bad. The underside of the wings offers us more nice physical detailing. The 737 MAX 8 of course also has these winglets where Herpa has added the TUI branding in print. For me they are still a bit too thick, a bit too bulky compared to the real thing, so still a bit room for improvement here in my opinion. Then we have the landing gear that has already been improved in recent years, as this is the height-adjusted standard landing gear of the 737 MAX from Herpa Wings, which I think overall looks alright for a Scale 500 aircraft model. But just imagine some printed details at the front landing gear. How lovely would that have been? It would also have been lovely to find some details on the belly of the aircraft, but in this case we don't, apart from this hole in the fuselage, if you want to call that detailing. Of course, for a stand that is not included with this aircraft model. So yeah, great idea, Herpa. What is a great idea, however, is the fact that they have added the doors to the cargo compartment in prints here at the back of the aircraft and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the 50-year anniversary livery of TUIfly Germany from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Or what can we not say about this aircraft model? That it is good? No, in all fairness, I think we should mention that the 737 mold of Herpa Wings actually is really, really good. And of course, with their height adjustment of the landing gear that they did a few years ago now, they have really majorly improved the 737 MAX in scale 500. The only issue I have with the physical detailing of this model is still the winglets, which for me are just a bit too bulky. But apart from that, this is actually really, really lovely work. And therefore, perhaps even more of a shame that they then have completely butchered this aircraft model with their non-performance when it comes to the print. Now, that Herpa has given up on actually printing the correct blue TUI color onto the aircraft models is a fact. We've seen that with the last Embraer TUI release, and if we compare them to the first 737 MAX TUI, we can see the color on the original TUI MAX is just, well, much closer to the real thing. Herpa has completely abandoned actually using correct colors on the aircraft models. This is yet another example of that. But if that was the only issue, they could almost be forgiven. But it's of course not. No, this model is a print line galore. This is a festival of print lines and poor print quality. I mean, we have these really ugly print lines in the blue, and again, if that was the only place, we could say, okay, they messed up the blue a little bit. But no, I mean, these print lines go from the blue all the way into the yellow parts as well, where we have all sorts of yellow tones on this aircraft model. What a shame. But if at least the yellow would then entirely cover the parts that are supposed to be yellow, but even that is not the case. I mean, what is this line? It looks like they haven't been able to print the yellow all across the fuselage. So I have almost like a white line in here. This is such poor quality overall. I mean, this is a disaster. And Herpa, of course, is not shy from having explanations as to why this is a model that they actually can sell.
Die TUI ist ein wahnsinnig kompliziertes Design durch diese Dreiteilung. Und zum Teil wird es schabloniert, zum Teil lackiert, zum Teil bedruckt. Und das muss dann alles zusammengefügt werden. Das ist in der Größenordnung wirklich sehr kompliziert. Würden wir das ein paar Stufen größer machen, wäre das sicherlich schön.
My grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike. You know, what the hell it doesn't make any sense what you said. It's a different recipe.
Wir werden uns das auch nochmal angucken, haben auch da bereits mit der Produktion nochmal gesprochen, dass einfach gewisse Toleranzen nochmal nachgeschärft und reduziert werden müssen.
Oh, if it only was done with that. But unfortunately, Herpa, this is a much more systemic issue. This is just a culmination of years of neglect from your side, of you not caring about what you're actually throwing into the market. Because until now, you've been alone in the Scale 500 market, realistically. That is about, or is already changing, and I hope that you very soon will feel the effects of that, because you deserve it. But let's get back to the model, because so far I've only talked about the TUI part and the Hapag-Lloyd Express part. Unfortunately, the best part of the model, the Hapag-Lloyd part, also has an issue. When we look here on the side of the aircraft model, It is almost not detectable here in this recording because honestly speaking, the studio lights have been helping out this model a lot. Most of these print lines are much more visible as soon as I take them away from the studio lighting. You are being helped here, Herpa, by this video, honestly speaking. But yeah, in the hapag-Lloyd part, we also have an issue around the registration code, on one side at least, where I guess they had a mistake in the print and then they just printed over it. I mean, I guess that's a solution, except it looks really ugly because of the edges. And my god, I mean, even the old print shines through this top layer. This is clearly not the right solution. You should not have released a model like this, pure and simple. It doesn't matter if it is only this issue or one of the many other issues we find of the model, and especially not all these issues combined. This is an unreleasable product. The fact you have released it anyways, without any statements, without any form of communication about it until you were forced to in a live stream, just shows that you have no morals. You have zero hesitation in selling absolute garbage to your customers. And I'm sorry that I have to be so frank and open here about this, but this is an unacceptable product. You cannot charge customers money for this. In all seriousness, if you want to be taken serious, you just can't. Now, in almost 11 years of making reviews, I have had many terrible Herpa Wings models in front of me, but seldom has there been a model that has been so fixed on a top spot in the worst model of the year competition as this one is. The audacity of Herpa Wings releasing a model like this, well, it is just staggering. And it is therefore almost with pleasure this time that I'd like to say, I bought this aircraft model so you don't have to, and you really shouldn't. Now, I know that with a review like this, I do trigger some elements within the community, the ultra Herpa Wings fanboys that to this day still try to defend what we have here in front of us. And if I have triggered you, I do apologize. If you want to, well, put the record straight and tell me why I'm wrong, then feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I welcome any feedback in the comments down below, as long as it is in a sober tone. And with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like. If you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? And with that, hope to see you soon again with a hopefully much better aircraft model in front of us. Until then, thanks so much for watching. I'm checking out, and bye.